What's up, Miniatures Paintbrush Legion, and welcome to Terrain Tutorials. Welcome back, TMP fans. I'm Rob, your host, and I have to say, got up this morning and decided to do something positive today, which is absolutely amazing. I am so proud of you. And welcome to this terrain tutorial where we are going to do some armored crates, which is absolutely amazing because it's going to make the larger project of the Sector Munitorum that I'm making look amazing and have some rust effects in there. These were a true joy to paint up, and I tried to do a two-tone color scheme, so I'm going to show you how to mask things and how to, get that two-tone into your thing. It could be applied to just about any model if you want to. But yeah, I think these things came out amazing. But let me stop talking about these things and let's go down to Tabletown and see how I did it. Alright, so back to Tabletown, starting off with Stynal Res Green Primer. Really great green. I do like to use it, and I use it for a lot of different things. Sort of like undead flesh or, military kind of things. Even though this is definitely not olive drab, but it definitely could be a highlight to olive drab. So I decided to go with these colors because I just thought it was easy and fun to do, and which is exactly what I was looking for here. I also strained my paint, very important, and that's why I continuously just spray paint without any clogs or worry about clogs, which is definitely a joy to do. And they came out so good. I did do a couple of coats here, just a little bit translucent. I did prime the entire thing in a Rust-Oleum kind of camouflage rattle can paint, and the reason for that is because when I get into the weathering step, it's really going to help us out here. Now, if you wanted to leave this one color, this is going to be the step that we just do and then add little details to. But since I'm going for a two-tone type of effect, what I use is I took my painter's tape, and I do like painter's tape here. I did the green one here, but there's a blue one as well, and all kinds of things that you can use. There's yellow ones. I don't know, I like the green one here, and just going around the area masking where I want generally off. But I noticed that once I did that this is a multifaceted object, so I needed some silly putty to mask off or to fill in any of the gaps that was left by the tape that I might get overspray when I spray it yellow. So I've been using silly putty as a masking agent. It's my favorite masking tool, and it's very versatile. All right, it's time for some Averland Sunset. That's what I use for that. Very flat kind of yellow paint, and yellow is pretty translucent here. So you're going to want to do several coats in order to get that great coverage that you kind of want there. Now here is where you use, I use the hair drying technique, and that is you take a hair dryer, and in between coats you just kind of pass it through so you can dry it quickly. And as you can see, after two thin coats, you get a nice even coverage right there. You might even go for 3 if you want to, but I think that was sufficient. All right, here is what I like to call the most satisfying part of painting or masking a miniature, is to make sure that when you peel it off, it all comes out just perfect. It's so satisfying as you peel off the paint and notice that, hey, I did a great job with that. I mean, go dopamine hit, right? So you can see there the middle parts there, the iron parts or iron cladding, that's kind of two-tone, and that's fine because we're going to paint over that later. But all in all, I think it came out great. I love the colors and everything else. Speaking of that iron cladding, I'm going to use a burnt steel or any kind of dark metallic paint would suit your purposes here. I prefer using Vallejo metal color. I think the pigmentation are ground so finely, it just does what it says on the tin. If you want metallic paint, that is going to show a great metallic paint that's more akin to the scale in which we paint. So I really do like it, and that is what I use exclusively. Now, as with all GW products, you can go as detailed or as little detail as you want to. Now, was this, and I have to ask yourself, is this going to be part of a display model piece that I'm going to include for maybe competition or something like that? Like it could be a background or the hero could be standing on it, whatever it is. No, it's not. It's for the gaming table, and it's for my pleasure. So I'm enjoying it. And I skipped a couple of details that I could have done, but I want to keep it simple, and I wanted to just have an enjoyable time with it. And I did. This was fantastic. So I did all the details that I wanted to do. It looks great at the end. And you can always press forward and do even more detail than I have. But getting all the iron cladding, even the footing to this is kind of important because, it kind of separates the edges of the delineation between the yellow and the green. It really gives that separation to it. I also paint the vents and the iron cladding on the top as well. Now you see, you can do those like hatches on the top if you want to metal, as well as a whole bunch of other details. But again, I was keeping it pretty simple. So I just went using the side of the brush and not the tip of the brush to get that done. And now time for weathering is something new. I use a sanding block, which you usually get when the painting section of a hardware store. And here I am scraping again, doing some weather using scraping again. And yeah, it comes out pretty cool using a sanding block. And it's because the acrylic paint that we use for GW and stuff like that is a little weaker. I don't know how to say that. It's definitely not as sturdy as a Rust-Oleum that bonds to plastic and all that. And just doing this simple technique really brings out, I guess, reverse highlighting. It's weather lighting. I don't know if you want to call it that. Let's call it that. Weather lighting. I'm weather lighting. It's always getting the top areas right there that is just scraping it off and making it really look amazing, because usually those are the edges that usually wear the most. So it really does a good job, and it's super simple technique to get done. A little bit of sanding will do ya, and looks flippin' awesome. And you could leave it there if you want to, and there could be your weathering. It looks great. You could put that on the table and, feel good about what you did. But of course, here we're going to take it to the next level by adding different color rust. Now we have the dark brown. This is more of an umber kind of brown. This is a rust, and that's the name of the product, rust. Very simple. It comes in a very little bottle. I use that, but you can use any kind of rust effects that you want to use. This is called the stippling technique that I am using with a sponge. And once I got that on, I'm going to use Game Effects, and that is Vallejo Game Effects New Rust, and that's that orange rust. It's great to contrast with all the brown that we put in there, a nice bright orange, and it actually ties everything together with the yellow as well, giving that warmth to it, because the green is a little cold, so I wanted to bring some warmth to it. So, and I'm just putting little dots and streaks underneath each one of these dots, which, well, I mean, I think it's a little bit too far away. So let me zoom in so you can see exactly what I'm doing here. There, that's much better. All right, so as you can see, I'm just putting little streaks on there on the bottoms just to show that rain had occurred and the rust is kind of like streaking down just a little bit. These little details do add a whole bunch to your miniature. So getting that in definitely adds to the effect in there. Again, you don't need to do this step, but it really is a great step to do to add some more depth. And look how easy it really is. You just put a little dots and a streak here and there. Decide what you're doing. Don't overdo it. It's so easy to overdo weathering. Don't overdo it. Just tastefully do it. And that's how it is. Now, in between the iron cladding on the side there, it was green. And I didn't like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some orange to it and add some rust in between the cladding, the iron cladding that I have over there. And it really does a great job at just adding that color variation to it, that rust in there, and it looks amazing, especially when it dries. Well, this is going to be the last step that I do in this process. Hopefully you join me to this process, and I hope that it was helpful. I'll catch you on the outro. Well, here it is, a really quick and simple way to get one of these crates painted up. And you can even go even simpler if you just decided to go one color scheme and use the exact techniques that I showed you in here. Well, hopefully you found this useful. And may you always paint every miniature to improve at least one skill, and may your backlog get ever smaller.
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good